Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another edition of Ask Us Anything at the Wolves of Wall Street. My name is Nexus. It is my proud pleasure to be your host this afternoon, evening, or whatever time zone we are coming to you from. As always, we do not give financial advice per se on this show. We are not your financial advisors, and I am not a qualified financial advisor. I am merely your voice as we investigate these projects, and we seek to get the best possible information out. Further research, I always encourage everyone in the community to do. And with that said, today we are speaking with not just one, but two projects, basically, in one. Today is the 20th episode of this show, and as such, we bring you something truly special. We have PixelCubs and the creator and founder of EMAX, EthereumMax, which made a huge splash last year. Personally, I feel like it is an honor to be speaking with this team, and as such, I would ask the community, give them your finest questions about both projects for the duration of this show. We are pleased to have you guys with us, and as always, I would like to start by asking you all if you would politely introduce yourselves so that the community can get to know you and your team.
Absolutely, Nexus. First of all, I just want to thank everybody, and especially the Wolves of Alt Street's team for agreeing to this collaboration. And we're very excited not only to be launching this project with such a great team of EMAX, but also to find collaborations like this. It's really helping not only grow our project, but learn more about the space and all. So just to give a little background on myself, I'm from the art team on the PixelCubs side. I helped develop, draw, and pretty much come up with the whole concept of the PixelCubs, really where we wanted to go with it. I just want to be transparent with everybody. That's really the type of aura we'd like to give out as a project. And to be honest, this project was not originally a collaboration with EMAX. So originally, my partner and I had created this art for a Wolf game copycat that we were going to launch back in November. And the the contract side of things really it wasn't as secure as we wanted to have it, and security is of the utmost importance for us. So it doesn't matter how good the art is if the contract isn't secure. We didn't really want to be a part of it, so we ended up parting ways with that team. And just not to go into too deep of a story, but we were actually at a Starbucks in Connecticut and meeting with another client. This was after the fallout of the last project. So we just really had this art here. We were sitting down with the client that we were doing a different project for the art wise. And Jay, he's actually in the chat right here. He overheard our conversation, and he was an associate of Gio, who is the EMAX founder. And he came up to us and said, "Hey, you guys do art for NFTs. A buddy of mine is actually launching an NFT marketplace. You guys might have heard of it, EMAX." And at the time, it was funny. I actually bought into EMAX, so right away we were very interested in the collaboration. And from there, we were introduced to the team at EMAX. We had the opportunity to meet Gio, to meet the devs behind the scenes, and honestly, everything just really fell into place. The timing couldn't have been more perfect, because as we were working on other projects, this was one of our babies, to be honest. And we hated the fact that it was just sitting there in a Google Drive and not being used. So when the opportunity unfolded, and we saw the backing that EMAX had, not only in terms of just their exposure, but also in terms of like the development side. I mean, they have a ton of staff on hand. They have a marketing team, they have coders, they have website, you name it, they got it. So right from the beginning, we knew that this had the opportunity to be a special project. And then once we kind of solidified the fact that we were going to go into into business together and create this project for the public, we started going through what utilities we really could create and what mechanisms within the project we could do to make this a special project, especially as it is going to be the genesis project for the NFTMax platform. So we will go into a little bit detail later in regards to the utility, but just to give you guys a brief little overview in the utility here, there is going to be a staking mechanism. So you are going to be able to stake your NFT to earn EMAX. That's going to be on the NFTMax platform. We will go into detail with the EMAX founder a little bit later because he's going to do a much better job than I could ever do of explaining. That is not my forte at all. But this is also going to be a verified PFP. We're going to have EMAX priority access to merch drops, and we're going to be doing a bunch of EMAX experiences. For instance, we're going to be doing a Miami party after the mint. So anybody who is in the area or wants to come down, if you're a holder or even just interested in the project, we welcome all the community. We're going to be doing gamification as well down the line. That's in our roadmap. If you see in the link that Nexus was so kindly to provide for everybody, you could check out all of our links, and in our Discord on our website, you could see the roadmap where we have gamification, staking down the road. And we also have a Genesis 2 mint that is going to be coming out in Q3. By purchasing this original Genesis collection, that'll actually give you a whitelist to future collections as well. But all in all, I mean, just to be on the art side of things, I just want to just be transparent with you guys. I mean, we're so excited to be with a team that really they're checking all the boxes. I mean, even though I'm sure some of you have heard some negative things. I mean, their cryptocurrency was one of the most popular currencies in the world at one point, and there were some fallacies that went along with it. But now that I really was able to see like the back end of the development group, meet the founder, I mean, I couldn't be more happy to be a part of this, and I have complete confidence in the project, especially as we make this bridge over into layer 2 and onto the Arbitrum network. But just to keep going on a little bit, regarding the project and my background, besides the fact of like how this all came together, I have a couple businesses in the real world, not just my crypto life. I'm involved in Airbnb arbitrage. I own an entertainment company, and I also have some property management background. And I also have a degree from Quinnipiac University in marketing and graphic design. So that's a little bit of my background. I'm going to hand it off to Jay now to speak a little bit about himself, and then we'll get into more of the details and the mechanics of the actual project, along with the auction, the mint, and the NFT Max platform.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Thank you. So hi, everybody. My name is Jay. I am 24 years old. I'm from Connecticut. I started out in real estate and construction development projects as my work, but I always was involved in technology, always was playing with tech since a very young age. And then, in the past, I'd say three to 4 years, I really became focused on the crypto space and all the development going on within that area. Luckily, I was able to stumble across and meet Giovanni about 2 to 3 years ago. We had a lot of mutual friends, and I ended up investing heavily into EthereumMax when he kicked it off. And I've been, really interested in his project and supporting him as best as I can and helping network the community to, as best of my ability since day one. Outside of just the crypto, I also do work with a software company that I am an administrative assistant for. We do all types of different things, but my main focus today is all in the crypto industry. I'm full steam ahead within NFTs and crypto projects. So that's a little bit of background about me, and I hope to be able to meet you guys and talk with you guys.
All right. Did Liz or Gio want to say anything as introductory before we move on into the meat and potatoes?
I'm just here to shill our Discord. Join our Discord, discord.gg/PixelCubs. That's what I do.
Awesome. And Mr. Gio.
And hey guys, so yeah, I'm Gio. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience from EMAX. So a lot of holders, supporters. That's great to see. And I think Eric and PapaBear and Jay did a good job, kind of describing some of the backstory of how this kind of collaboration came to fruition. And my personal background, for those who don't know it, I've been in the hedge fund space for 10 plus years. Kind of made the jump to kind of really being fully immersed in the crypto world and crypto space for almost the last year. I've been involved in crypto for a while, but really with EMAX I've really just jumped in and made that kind of the full-time priority. And it's definitely been a bit of a roller coaster. Had the highest of highs, some lows. It's been a project that has evolved over time. There were a lot of people involved kind of at the start who actually launched the project that are no longer part of the project, but myself and a number of the core team members have been there from the very early days. And I've really kind of overseen, I think, a dramatic transition from some of the stuff that had a ton of hype and marketability and exposure in the kind of mainstream markets, to something that continues to have that exposure, but also really continue to build out on the back end, the development, the utility. For those of you who know, EMAX has recently kind of made a transition and migration into an Arbitrum launch. A number of our holders have transitioned and bridged over to Arbitrum, and that's really the platform that we're looking to kind of build on with the rest of the ecosystem, along with the NFTJay marketplace that will be launching in the very near future. So, when this opportunity for kind of a Genesis kind of initial featured collection came about, we always knew we wanted to have NFTJay as part of the ecosystem and kind of reward both those NFT holders in tandem with the collaboration with EMAX and our EMAX holders as kind of part of the growth of the platform. So that's kind of how we got to where we are today, and definitely looking forward to kind of going into more depth with the details on the staking, the utility, and everything we're trying to do with this collection.
Cool. All right, with that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to clarify real quick, just so everyone's on the same page. How does PixelCubs and I guess EMAX's founder, if they want to chime in, on how do you guys define the Metaverse? Because I personally think that when the Metaverse is when Doctor Strange and Batman can fight Jack Sparrow and the Master Chief in a game of Fortnite. Like that, when I think of the Metaverse, that's what I think of. So I guess I'm wondering if you guys are envisioning some kind of media franchise or something more akin to a VR chat room with enhanced functionality.
So in regards to the Metaverse, I know everything comes down to money. Let's just be completely honest. We can make a full VR Metaverse where you're customizing and you're pulling your thousands of characters and different worlds into one realm, essentially. But when I think Metaverse, especially with other NFT projects that I've been in, I really think about it as being able. This is just my opinion too. Obviously, to each their own kind of thing. But when I think of the Metaverse, especially with this project, I think of it as like being able to use your NFT in some utility way besides just like the normal staking or just like transfers. Like actually being able to use your character in some sort of game, some sort of community chat where you could like actually move around with the character. You can interact with other community members. And that's really where I see kind of the NFT metaverse at this moment in time. I mean, one thing that we could all confirm is that this space is forever changing. So the technology that is around now, it hasn't been around. It wasn't here 3 months ago. You know what I mean? So this metaverse, just in my own opinion, that's kind of where I see it. But I know Gio has a different opinion. So does Jay. So it's really just on my end. That's kind of where I see it going.
So, I mean, just generically speaking, as far as just the concept of the metaverse, right? Obviously, I think the whole concept really changed with Facebook's foray into the whole kind of centralized version of the metaverse, right? Changing your name to Meta, you're really staking your entire future in the metaverse, right?
Definitely.
And on data and the ability to use that data for all types of different purposes, which is what kind of Facebook was doing forever, right? In more of the traditional kind of social media sense. And look, like COVID has really changed the way I think people are thinking about things. I mean, it changed interaction. It changed the way people, kids go to school. It changed the way people work. And, I think just having defined places that you have to be that defines an office space, so to speak, is not the same today as it was prior to COVID. So, obviously you have a whole gaming generation, right, of people who are, as Nexus said, kind of on Fortnite and sitting there and have all these kind of alter egos and kind of are in this alternate type space and alternate reality. And I think that's what the metaverse can be, but it can be so much more, right, than just the gaming aspect, right? Because I think, to me, the metaverse is really to the extent of what you can imagine and what exists in the real world, because all those things in the real world will eventually be in the metaverse. So, I mentioned the Facebook change to Meta. It's because of that vast opportunity and potential for advertising, for marketing, for doing everything that exists currently on Earth and in the real world, like in the metaverse. So, where I see opportunities and especially as they intersect with the NFT world and with this project, if you think of what actually the metaverse itself is, just a whole collection of NFTs, right? The actual things you're seeing, the structures you're seeing, there's gaming within the metaverse. Those are all just NFTs built on top of NFTs on top of NFTs. So what you can then do with obviously something around a collection, around characters, around avatars and all that type of stuff, it's really endless. And I think it can have a ton of utility around, different collections and what like character that you're kind of taking on. And, I think just the wearable and avatar space in and of itself within the metaverse is a massive opportunity where, people want to, just like in real world, right? Fashion is such an individualistic thing. People want to have that ability to do that in the metaverse as well. And, I think that's why you see such a big, investment that, these kind of high fashion houses are making in the metaverse. And, I just think that the opportunities are so endless based around the fact that it's really an untapped space. So everything that currently exists here on in the real world is moving there. And, I think there's a ton of, kind of first mover advantages and all that type of stuff. But, I think the opportunities are going to continue to present themselves. And same thing with real estate, right? People are buying plots of land for millions of dollars, depending on what's deemed to be prime metaverse real estate and things like that. So, I think that stuff is just shows what an opportunity it is. And, we're really very, very early, I think, to the whole kind of metaverse party. I mean, you're talking probably before full immersive VR and kind of, I think interaction in the metaverse is really prevalent. I think you're still probably 5 to 10 years away from that kind of being a real adopted thing. Whereas now you have, fully immersive VR, you have AR. So there's a lot of versions that I think have lower barrier to entry to get into right now. But I think the metaverse is a real thing. It's obviously here to stay, and it's a massive opportunity.
I wanted to start us off there just to let you guys know, because there's going to be a lot of crypto people who are going to tune away from the metaverse because there's a lot of, let's just say, negativity in the air regarding NFTs. So there's going to be a few crypto investors who hear metaverse and tune out immediately. And I just wanted to get that elephant in the room addressed.
Well, then maybe they should stay tuned, because we're going to talk about staking today, and the staking that this project is offering is pretty groundbreaking, I think.
Awesome. We definitely love that.
One thing I wanted to just touch on, not to cut you off.
No,
Nexus.
go for it.
I just wanted to touch on, one benefit that I do see in terms of the metaverse being a developmental project, and obviously it's continuously evolving, is I think that it's going to be a new way for people who generally are nervous to socialize in person. I think it may be an easier gateway for them to learn how to become more social and, get more acclimated to a face-to-face interaction and talking with people, but, they're still in the comfort of their home.
Okay.
But
one other thing I just want to add, because I mentioned like kind of the centralized version. I think there's also going to be two paths of where the metaverse goes, right? The centralized version and kind of the decentralized version. And, I think a lot of people, really want control of their identity and control of their data and all that type of stuff. So, that's why people say, well, how could any of these, kind of smaller projects have any chance in the metaverse versus, a Facebook or a Meta, right, which has, hundreds of billions of dollars to spend on development and all that type of stuff. And it's because people want the decentralized version, right? You want to be in control of your identity and your data and all that type of stuff. And I think that's where there is going to be a clear intersection of in two kind of different paths and how the metaverse is built and how people adopt it. And I think that, like I mentioned, and Jay just kind of touched on it, COVID changed the world. It changed how people interact. It changed, people's, I think way of just being social. And, I think if people are more comfortable just in this alter ego where they're not actually in real life human kind of face-to-face interactions, that's a gateway and a pathway for people to have that type of engagement that they're comfortable with. So, obviously there's a platform for everything. And, I think that definitely is something that a lot of people will definitely kind of adopt. Like you mentioned, Nexus, I know it's kind of hotly debated and people are very kind of polar, either pro or anti metaverse and all that type of stuff. But, we like to kind of keep an open mind to all the emerging technologies and the different possibilities to use it. And, we know that also means a lot of different things, like I said, from decentralized versus decentralized.
Well, I feel like it's an elephant right now because there's, in particular on YouTube, there's popular discourse right now surrounding a project that's called Earth 2. And its founder has made a big media splash because he's basically challenging his fudders to game development duels. And it looks kind of trashy. So I bring that up because that's causing all the no-coiners and the people without a lot of investment in the crypto space to look at all of crypto and paint everyone with this single broad brush. And it's very interesting, but I don't want to focus on the bad shit. We want to focus on you guys. So let's take a moment and let's dive into EthereumMax. While we have an opportunity to talk to the granddaddy behind EthereumMax, I'd like to touch on his design and vision for EthereumMax in the light of the intense marketing noise that it made by sponsoring big fights. How is all of the EthereumMax going to tie in to PixelCubs?
So that's a great question. And, obviously, as I kind of touched upon at the onset, that there's been a whole, I think, evolution of the EthereumMax project. And we when the project was launched, obviously massive splashes were made with some of the personalities, celebrities, endorsers, all that type of stuff that that we've worked with. There was, I think, initial utility built right off the gate. Given that you could use EthereumMax to purchase tickets to a Floyd Mayweather fight, which was kind of a social phenomenon with Logan Paul, and I think that really kind of opened a lot of people's eyes. Like, what type of connections do these guys have? And obviously the beginning part of the project, I think, was very dominated by those relationships, partnerships, and got a lot of media attention and a lot of visibility and exposure and all that type of stuff. And I think that definitely by design to put the overall project and get the awareness of the project out there and really on the map. Now I think the issues around EthereumMax early on, where, as I mentioned, there were just different people involved. There was a lot of turnover. There was, I think some, I think just conflicts around like the vision and kind of where the project was going. There wasn't necessarily at the onset the best kind of back end developmental resources, and I think over time. We've continued to work with massive name celebrities and events. Like, we kind of transitioned over in October, World Heavyweight Championship, the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, which probably will go down as one of the greatest fights of all time. Had a huge kind of sponsorship moment there. Also debuted an NFT ticketing technology around what we call EMAX experiences. So I think that was just kind of a glimpse into some of the stuff we wanted to do on the NFT side. And, I think there's really been a very stark transition into this very utility heavy, very developmental heavy kind of life cycle of the project, where, a lot of these things that we've wanted to do with the expansion of the ecosystem that is EthereumMax, that includes kind of moving over to layer 2. That includes the the NFTMax marketplace. It includes a DEX, which we're currently working on, that is integrated into Arbitrum, and then the rest of the ecosystem with the MaxPay stablecoin and the Ethmax DAO. So when you think of where EthereumMax kind of was at onset, obviously great media presence, exposure, visibility, all that stuff. But now all of the stuff that you actually are going to have behind the scenes and under the hood, I think it's really a kind of a launch pad, so to speak, with what is going to be happening in the future, and kind of intersects with this PixelCubs project and all the utility that's going to be offered to holders. And I think this is going to really be a key cog in the ecosystem, and we couldn't be more excited about the collaboration and all the great stuff I think that will come with that, as Liz mentioned, the staking component, which will be a direct tie-in to the NFTMax marketplace. As that marketplace gets underway, the marketplace will earn listing fees and transaction fees. That there is going to be an opportunity for a percentage of that to go back to stakers. So I think, given that this is kind of a genesis project on the NFTMax platform, we want those initial holders and people who are supportive of the project, that ultimately are helping to really get NFTMax off the ground, to be able to benefit and experience kind of a return based on the growth of the marketplace. So we think that's a huge opportunity. And I think some of the stuff with gamification, play to earn, that's all kind of listed in the roadmap. I think that's another huge opportunity. That EMAX is working on a number of different avenues, and I think those rewards are not only going to be passed to to the holders directly, but also the holders of the PixelCubs collab. So, I think there's a ton of utility that's being built out. Everything centers around layer 2 Arbitrum, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I mean, you're talking about, one of the most scalable layer 2 solutions that's absolutely dominated the layer 2 market share, from Ethereum mainnet. And the great thing about Arbitrum is that it's built on the Ethereum kind of security protocol. So, I'm sure everybody's seen over the last, kind of handful of weeks, months, all these different exploits with, kind of cross-chain type kind of bridging and things like that. Obviously, just the other day, the biggest breach of all time, the $625 million breach on the Ronin network, that was off of the Axis gameplay, and that's, again, being on the Ethereum mainnet security protocol and then having all these scalable solutions being built in Arbitrum off of that, it's a world of difference from a security perspective. We take painstaking efforts to kind of test, audit, re-audit, try to break everything that we're building any different way so that, we can kind of get ahead and avoid any of these type of exploitations. Because unfortunately, that's just part of the space. You're always going to have exploiters, and they're going to try to take advantage of any vulnerabilities in any of the platforms that get produced. So, I think you have to extremely just vigilant and cognizant of that, and kind of build it in the most kind of extremely cautious way possible. So that's kind of the evolution and where we are, and we're we just think this is a perfect kind of kickoff point of having this collab, and in tandem with the rest of the marketplace being launched and the rest of the ecosystem being built out.
So I just wanted to add a quick comment in there while we were on the topic of Arbitrum, because like I said, I am an NFT holder. I purchase them. I'm always looking for new projects as well. And for all those other people that are same as me, always looking for projects. And when you find one, when you go to click that purchase button, when that gas fee is just as much as the as the NFT itself, it could be just so disheartening. And it's just frustrating, especially like you have to, like, if you're flipping them or if you're holding it long term, you have to add that gas fee into your cost of doing business, essentially. And I think like what Gio was saying, the Arbitrum being on layer 2 and having these cheaper gas fees, it's going to allow these consumers to buy the NFT by itself and have a very little transactional fee. So that sour taste of like, okay, I just spent $200 on an NFT and another $200 on gas fees. Like that's not going to be the case with this. And I just wanted to reiterate that, especially as someone who is frustrated at the gas fees on other projects that I purchase into. So we're very excited about this, especially to give the users such low fees so they could really get the full benefit out of it and see the most profit.
Ooh.
And we're talking just so everybody understands, like, the type of kind of cost benefit we're talking about with these efficient gas fees. I mean, roughly like 1/100th of the mainnet cost. Arbitrum is still in a beta mode, which is they're going to be coming out of beta anytime now. We've been in close contact with their kind of developers, and that will lower the cost even more than it is now, which is kind of hard to fathom, given that you're talking about 50 cent to $1 transaction fees, up to could be a couple dollar transaction fee for gas on an NFT, where that number could come down by 50%, and that's relative to mainnet prices that kind of PapaBear is talking about, where you could be in the hundreds. So, I think more of the capital, more of resources that people are using directly into kind of products that they're buying, and kind of different protocols and things like that. It just makes it that much easier, I think, to get into something, and that much easier to be able to trade it and be a little bit more active and not have to worry about the gas, which is kind of a part of doing life. And unfortunately on mainnet, who knows when ETH 2.0 is going to happen, and who knows what cost benefit we're actually all going to see from it. So, that was one of the main reasons why we wanted to make Arbitrum such a point of emphasis. Move over, get EMAX token kind of listed there with a pairing, have the rest of the ecosystem built out there so that you're in a cost beneficial environment and something that's super scalable that developers love working with.
And I just wanted to add one other point into that, just basically in the scalability of the economics of not only the Arbitrum network, but the EMAX and the PixelCubs project. Because if you think about it, a lot of the volume that takes place is on exchanges where the gas fees are much cheaper. So these users are going to be much more incentivized to be daily trading, to stake or to put their NFTs up for sale, to sell them. You know what I mean? The transactional fees are going to be so much lower, which is going to really incentivize the purchasing of these. So now people could actually play the market as it unfolds, rather than like being scared of $200, $300 gas fees. So I just see the Arbitrum network, these low gas fees really being a main push into daily trading volume, both on the Ethereum Max currency as well as these NFTs.
Okay. Let's talk hardcore tokenomics. Say I've minted a PixelCub NFT. How am I going to be able to stake it for rewards, and what does the cash out look like?
So the way the staking is going to work, there's going to be a mechanism built directly into the NFT Max marketplace, and essentially what I believe we shared I'm not sure, Jay, if you shared the kind of write up on that. If not, we'll have it posted in the channel. But essentially, each NFT you purchase will entitle you to staking points, and those staking points essentially will entitle all stakers to a pro rata portion of a percentage of the fees that are earned on the marketplace in two different ways. So one is there are listing fees that the marketplace earns, right, for all transactions that are either listed, buys, sells, whatever activity actually is done on the marketplace. There will be a percentage that's it's 5% of the 2.5% of that marketplace activity, and that could be on anything. That does not have to be specific to PixelCubs. And then in addition, all stakers will also get 20% of the royalties on all secondary trading on the collection, which is set at 8%. So there's an opportunity to kind of experience some of the upside of the growth of not only the project that you're getting involved in, but also the marketplace that this is kind of being used as a featured collection at kickoff. So, we think with both of those, there's a tremendous upside there. The different Cubs, depending on, and I think PapaBear mentioned that there's two different, types of offerings within the initial 2,222 Cub collection. There's going to be 22 Cubs that are going to be available in a bid style auction listing right at onset of the marketplace launch. Those 22 Cubs will be the only 22 of the 2,222 that will have EMAX traits. So they'll be a little more rare from that sense. But they'll also hold a little bit of a higher kind of staking, let's call it multiple. And then the other 2,200 Cubs will also be able to be staked. Those will be available via a mint about a week after the conclusion of the auctions on the marketplace. And all the kind of the staking points and all that stuff. It's all laid out in the documents that we've created around this, but basically the EMAX Cubs will have a 5x kind of staking power, and the non-EMAX Cubs, which each whitelist, for those of you who are lucky to have one so far, are entitled to mint up to 5 Cubs. Each one of those Cubs will have a 1x kind of staking point power. So the mint price for the 2200 that'll be available after the original 22 is 0.055 ETH, and the original 22, given that they have a little bit of that extra kind of bonus on the staking, plus they also entitle holders to some other utility, such as 2 of those 22 Cubs will have a chance at winning a percentage share of all of the proceeds generated from all of the mint revenue on the entire collection. So that in and of itself, right, could more than pay for the cost, the 0.5 ETH starting price of those 22 Cubs, plus
and future collections.
And future collections, correct. And also, obviously for those of you who kind of buy NFTs and understand kind of the rarity factor and things like that, given that these 22, are the only Cubs in the collection that have the EMAX features, they are going to be a little bit rarer.
You mind if I? Oh, sorry, Gio. You mind if I just cut you in real quick?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So when he's speaking about the rarity of these, my partner and I actually did the artwork for this specifically. Each of these 22 is actually going to be a one of one. They're all 22 of these are 100% hand drawn. We customized these to match the EMAX colors, the EMAX vibe. We put traits on them that none of the other bears are going to have, along with color schemes, and to bring it to a level even a little bit further, which I thought was such a cool mechanism that we could add into it to truly make these things one of one. I was speaking with the EMAX dev who's doing the contract, and for those of you who have been following our Twitter or our Discord already, we've been releasing Cub descriptions. So each of these 22 Cubs actually has like their own little personality. They have their own name. It might be a hint towards future abilities. We don't want to release too much yet, but each of these Cubs has their own personality, and that Cub description is actually going to be on the JSON file that's into the coding. So these 22 are truly going to be one of one, not only characteristically through the image of their attributes, but also even in the coding, you're going to have the description living on the blockchain, which I think is just such a cool feat to have.
Yeah, and on that piece, just so everyone understands what PapaBear is talking about, the Arbitrum network and the low gas fees and the unlimited kind of data size is something that allows for that. Like a lot of NFTs that you're purchasing right now, they'll have a link to something that's stored in another place, and that's what you're actually purchasing. And a lot of that's just due to size constraints, on mainnet or on other type of networks that, may not allow for as scalable solutions when kind of creating these contracts and these files. So because there is so much data, as PapaBear is saying, like literally each piece, each trait, each characteristic, all stored on chain, that makes these truly unique one-of-ones impossible to, kind of duplicate or replicate, because they exist and all the data is on chain. That's just yet another benefit of Arbitrum and the cost and the the scalable size ability of the network.
Absolutely. So just to add into that, I mean, for those techie people out there, actually about 6-7 months ago, when we were first working on this project, is the string length, and exactly what Gio was saying. There's just so much data with every single trait, with every pixel that's on there. That's leaving that's essentially a code on the back end. And when you're on the EthereumMax, or when you're on the Ethereum blockchain, if it has a long string length in the coding, that's going to cause for obviously more data, more gas. So being on Arbitrum and having the long string length for these detailed pixel images we're still able to keep that gas fee down because it's able to handle all of this data in such an organized and smooth fashion. So I just think it's really cool, and very excited about it.
All right, let's touch briefly on that auction/lottery that we've mentioned a couple times regarding the pre-minted 22. You say they've got a couple of those special EMAX perks, but also the same perks as the rest of the Genesis collection. Is there any more detail we can go into on the EMAX side of the PixelCubs as far as tokenomics?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the big thing, as you mentioned, Nexus, all of the benefits and the utility of the entire collection are going to also transfer over to these 22. But in addition, I briefly touched on it. 2 of the 22, and that'll be held via a drawing, on the night of the mint, will each win 2.22% of all proceeds from the initial mint on those 2,200 Cubs. So, that in and of itself can more than potentially pay for the cost of those EMAX Cubs. So that's something that is unique to these 22. As we mentioned, these 22 of the 22 are the only ones that are going to have EMAX features. So they'll be a little more rare from that perspective. They'll also entitle, if that purchaser does not have a whitelist, that'll also entitle you to a whitelist on the 2200 mint. And then in addition, we were talking about the staking piece before. Those 22 will be equivalent to 5 kind of staking points from a multiplier perspective, versus the 2200 being kind of equivalent to just 1 staking point. So, it's something that, I know, just talking to people in community around the project, people want to accumulate a lot of these, given the the potential for return on the staking. So, those 22 are just that much more valuable, given the multiplier on what you'd be entitled to from a proportionate perspective on the staking.
Okay. Is there?
Can I add one thing quick?
Oh, sure, please.
Gio, just to clarify, if you have it, how will the staking be paid? Like, how will it be paid out in terms of what coin will it be?
Yeah, so the staking is in the form of ETH or EMAX. It's whatever. So on the NFT Max marketplace, EMAX is also accepted. It's really dictated by the individual doing the listing. So those listing fees that are taken off of it's a percentage of the proceeds on the individual transaction. So whatever currencies, whether that be EMAX, whether that be ETH, whether the marketplace is also going to be integrated into Polygon. So if somebody's doing a listing in Matic, you will be entitled to a proportionate share of a percentage of that listing fee in whatever currency is generated. So, there's definitely an opportunity for income in all different types of forms.
Okay. I have a follow-up regarding the staking in regards to appreciation, or rather depreciation. Several NFT projects that have come up before us have had an equity or stake function built into the NFT tied to a marketplace of some sort. However, the staking payout on those NFTs had a permanent overtime depreciation, and when asked, they said the reason that happens is to incentivize more minting. Are you guys going to depreciate the staking of the NFT?
No, so the whole kind of concept around the staking, entitling holders to a percentage of both the royalties and on secondary trading of the NFTs and the listing fees and transaction fees on the marketplace itself is that this is a Genesis collection. This is the first featured collection that's being offered on the marketplace, and it's kind of like that early early mover advantage, right? So those individuals who are supporting this project are supporting the growth and expansion of the marketplace. So that percentage will not reduce or not decay over time. That is a set percentage. And, again, the percentage on the marketplace is on everything on the marketplace. So if you're a believer that, the marketplace is going to gain traction and gain market share, especially given its status as one of the only true marketplace that you'll be able to buy, sell, and do all this different stuff on Arbitrum at the current time, so it's very well positioned to gain market share there from that perspective on cost alone. Then you're going to continue to reap the benefits of percentage of the proceeds that are generated. So no decay.
All right. I always like to hear that, guys. Okay, let's get into the deep stuff. All right. So, after the big crypto dump of late 2021, which I'm sure you guys felt just like all the other major altcoin projects felt, how did EMAX adapt the strategy to keep going?
Well, yeah, I think that's, part of what sets this PixelCubs collection apart from some of these other NFT projects that come up, right? And, things get pitched to me all the time. And, I see there's obviously tons, hundreds, thousands of projects that, are being developed, really every day, every week. And, I think a lot of them try to do things like this staking. But the question is, what is it being staked for? And they're like, oh, well, we're going to launch a coin that's in tandem with the NFT. But it's like, okay, well, is the coin going to be around? Is the team going to be around? Is the team kind of put their name to the project? So that's, I think one of the things that, with EMAX, as I mentioned, we've kind of rode a roller coaster, right, over the 9-10 months that the project's been in existence. And the fifth day that EMAX was in existence was the day that I think China, for the 17,000th time, announced that they were going to be banning any transactions related to cryptocurrency. And the market, ETH dropped 60% in a 3-day period. Bitcoin was down roughly the same. ETH was at 4,400 the day EMAX launched. It dropped as low as 1,900, very shortly into the project. And yet the project actually was able to, and the price of the coin was actually able to, kind of reach just dramatic levels. It was the fastest growing cryptocurrency of all time the first 15 days. Obviously for a variety of reasons, different things that we kind of talked through, there's been the price has kind of been all over, and it's definitely come down dramatically from that high. But the thing is that there is a very active community. The team is continuing to build, develop, and evolve the project based around kind of long-term longevity. And, it's something that, we've experienced that initial downturn, which was back in kind of late May of last year. We've seen, what happened at the end of last year, kind of following like Thanksgiving time around, where, kind of we were in the mid 4s in ETH and, kind of dropped back down to like that 1,900, 2,000 level. And, the project just keeps going. We've seen, that very nice bull run through the end of up to that time last year. And then, kind of now a little bit of a downturn. And now it looks like we're starting to be on the upswing again. But, I think the way the project pretty much approaches every day is, kind of just doing what it needs to do, what it can control, building out, continuing to develop, continuing to show progress on that front. And, obviously it's always helpful when you release things and when you, kind of start bringing some of these things to market, that the market kind of be in that upturn. But, we're really just trying to be in position to benefit from, another kind of nice run in the market with having a whole portfolio of offerings that actually can be pointed to, and you can kind of see all the utility and the work that's been put into the project.
Absolutely. And that does bring me quite nicely into my final question before I dive headfirst into community questions. We've been floating around 3 digits for a while now. As always, I'm thankful for everyone attending this show. My personal final question from my docket. As far as buzz about EMAX in the Wolves of Wall Street, it died down significantly following the dump in the Floyd Mayweather fight aftermath. Personally, seeing the kind of buzz that it generated at the start, I found the sudden quiet rather surprising for a new crypto that was capable of driving that much marketing power. Since then, however, I've watched as several other major projects made huge buzz and disappeared far faster. EMAX obviously is still around. Did anything happen to the team or your mentality following the big marketing push that you saw all of that buzz from?
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great question, and it's something that we talk about all the time with the community. I mean, we host bi-weekly AMAs, and kind of just go over a lot the whole evolution of this project, and of course, I mean, I think when we when the project was first launched, and when we really started to make inroads with kind of some of that real mainstream kind of audience, and obviously the huge relationships and some of the initial utility which was created right off the bat, of course that was going to generate a massive buzz. We were able to garner a holder count in the first 30 days that is just absolutely unheard of. I mean, it was 100,000 holders in 30 days, which I don't think anybody's ever seen. And that was, I think, a testament to all of those relationships, all of the people involved with the project, and I think everything in between. And I think what's happened, kind of over time is you realized a lot of the things that happen at launch. A lot of people were able to get an inordinate amount of tokens for very low amounts of money, and a lot of those people have taken it upon themselves to say, okay, like, my bag is saying a number that I've never seen in my life in any sort of account, and I'm going to dump this to put that money back into ETH, and I think that's kind of normal. I think we see in a lot of projects, and very successful projects that become very big long-term projects, that there's often a very kind of steep decline from an early high. And obviously with EMAX, that growth and that kind of just that gargantuan kind of jump that it had in the first 15 days was just it's never been seen. And I think that obviously the downtrend post that was pretty much as violent. But I think a lot of the reasons around that were that there were people involved in this project early on that were able to get coins early on, that were able to kind of do damage kind of to this project from a price perspective. But I think the thing that continues is that there is a strong community. There is a very, very strong kind of holder base who knows the whole story, that sees the team continuing to work and continuing to build and evolve the project from a developmental perspective, and really build out utility that everybody's been clamoring for. I know sometimes people really want things, myself included, to happen faster than they can sometimes. But I think that's just the nature of development, that it takes time when you have to think about the security concerns, right, and all this different stuff for avoiding exploitation and vulnerabilities and all that type of stuff. And we're doing things that nobody's really ever done, right? Like, there's only a handful of projects that have even endeavored in getting onto Arbitrum. So, when you do something like that, you got to cross your T's multiple times and dot your I's. So, I think all of that stuff has taken some time, but I think, the plan that, the team has had and that, I think that the community understands is continue this build out, start to get these offerings that have been worked on for quite some time to market. And, obviously there's a number of things that we have already locked in that haven't been announced yet and haven't really been started on the marketing front. And, I think when those things start to get announced and when we start to get exposure on all those things, people are going to see, well, wait a minute, I thought this project, based on what the media told me, the project, kind of came and gone. But in fact, this project actually has continued to work, continued to develop, continued to expand on their offerings to have a sustainable kind of infrastructure and platform that's going to have longevity into the future. So, I think all of these things, they just take time. And I always say every project has its own kind of story, and EMAX definitely is no different. And, people always joke that this definitely needs to be a movie. And, we've been approached by multiple kind of film houses on just saying, hey, like, would you guys be interested in that? But we'll see when time comes. But yeah, I think, once all this utility, once all these offerings are built, and as we, kind of continue to go through the evolution of what we already have in the works for marketing and for partnerships and sponsorships and all that stuff that'll bring visibility on the front end, I think that buzz can be reclaimed. And I think a lot of people who are just on the periphery haven't really followed along with the project or know everything that's been going on. When they see all the stuff that's actually been built, I think, sometimes, the old adage is, there's really no press that's bad press. So, I don't think some of the press that we've gotten kind of over the last handful of months has been the best press, but, I think for sure it keeps you on the map, and, it keeps some of those people looking and just interested in what you're doing. And when they find out about some of these things coming out, I think those will all have positive benefits and impact for the project.
Awesome.
I just before we go on from this, I just wanted to add something in quickly. As someone who originally bought into EMAX during all the hype, this is at a point in time, mind you, that I didn't know Gio, I didn't know Jay, I didn't know anybody from the EMAX team. And then months later, I'm approached with the potential to possibly work with this team. And to be completely transparent with you, like, that's the first thought that came up to my mind. Nexus was just like, okay, like, what's the real story behind this team?
Yeah.
And I just want to, like, compliment Gio and the whole team and toot his horn a little bit, because as someone who has, like, a real professional life, and you have to hold morals and business and to a certain ethical standard, I see right off the rip, Gio has done that, because I have personally seen people rug pull. I've been part of projects where I've been rug pulled after a massive sell off like that. The devs kind of just disappear, and for Gio to not only be so transparent right from the rip with me, and just morally just want to do the right thing for the whole project, for all the holders, to really come back from that, keep his head up, make sure that he acquires the right team members to make all of these processes possible. I mean, just him still being here, I mean, I think that shows that he holds himself and his project to a certain moral standard, and that's a lot of things that a lot of people overlook. And for me, myself, I mean, that was one of the most important things was the transparency, was his high ethical standard, and really the direction that they are pushing in after having such an onslaught of negative marketing. Because to tell you the truth, like, some of these marketing, some of these, like, news stories, I mean, they made it sound like the story was just so false. And, like, it just, I don't know, after meeting the team and meeting Gio personally and really watching this baby develop, like, I could say that, like, all of those negative connotations of EMAX, like, yeah, there was people that were dumping, that was completely out of his control. And I understand where he's coming from, and the fact that, like, he's able to keep his head held high and push through this and really continue to give his users something to look forward to and some return on their investments. I think that speaks tremendously about himself and the project.
All right, with that, we are going to kick it straight into user questions. Thank you all again for your time, as always, in these endeavors. Zach, starting out with a very interesting question. He says, "Hello and welcome, dear PixelCubs representative. I have two primary questions I would like to ask. Here goes. When looking at the roadmap, it is shown that there are giveaways in each quarter, which shows that the main objective of this project may not necessarily be about developing or bringing forward a useful NFT, but yet another algorithm seeking to empty the pockets of minters. My question is this: what is it that you guys say will make the NFT useful, unique, and wanted? Those are the three factors that drive prices up." We've gone over some of that, but we have more viewers now, so if you guys want to touch on what makes them useful, unique, and very wanted.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a great question. That's obviously, I think the first question anybody who thinks about a project, right, should ask is like, what is the real utility? What makes these different than any other project? And ultimately, are you gonna be able to be part of something that has benefit and has potential for return? And are these going to be able to be sold out? Is there going to be anticipation around them and all that type of stuff? So I think it's a great question. And I think like you said, Nexus, I mean, we went over I think all the utility as far as the staking, as far as the potential to be able to get a portion of not only the proceeds generated from secondary trading, but also potential to win if you buy one of the 22 on the mint proceeds. Have a percentage of the revenue from all the NFT marketplace listings. And then, in addition, like the gamification piece, I think is a huge part of this project. PapaBear mentioned something about, the personalities of the Cubs as kind of a hint. And, I can let him kind of go into some of the things that we're thinking about from a gamification perspective. But this isn't something where you just kind of buy these NFTs and they just kind of sit there and you can't do anything with them. But you're definitely going to be able to use these, from a gamification perspective. There's a lot of ideas on, kind of how there's going to be add-ons and build-ins to, just to kind of add to your NFT kind of character and persona and things that you're going to be able to do with that, on the gamification realm. And just the potential for the ability to be able to do these things on the staking perspective. I think that in and of itself kind of holds the floor up. I think there's a lot of interest in these Cubs, not only from kind of the EMAX community who understands the project, the EMAX side of it kind of collab, and they've, I think, got a good glimpse into the PixelCubs side of it, but also just I think the overall greater community who understands that this is a real collaboration with a real project, right? That's kind of withstood a bit of the test of time, been in up markets, been in down markets, dealt with all kinds of stuff that you could imagine, and is kind of still there, building, developing. And I think if you have a strong partner from a collaboration perspective, then I think there's a high degree of confidence that that those staking kind of mechanisms and the potential kind of return from all that is going to be there, right? And I think that's a huge differentiator, right, from any project, right? Is there a team kind of behind it that's backing this, that's known? Are they partnering in some way with a team that you're going to have any degree of confidence is still going to be there in the future? So I think all those things, are super important to differentiate this project versus anything else. And then all the other stuff, like the giveaways, like the events and all that stuff. I mean, those are just kind of, I think, added benefits and I think help kind of foster the sense of community. I mean, this project, and I think for anyone who's in the PixelCubs Discord, I mean, there's a real community, and that's Liz and Jay and PapaBear that are in there every day. And, I think there's a true kind of sense of community around that. And I think as far as kind of one of the things that, you know, they're doing in there on a daily basis. I mean, they're doing all kinds of different trivia nights and different kind of games and things like that really, I think, are you know, something that produce very high engagement amongst the community that's still growing. Obviously, we haven't even gotten to the mint yet, and I think that it's an active community from an engagement perspective on that front. And you know, I think those events and giveaways, you know, like whether that be PixelCubs merchandise, PixelCubs and EMAX merchandise, all that type of stuff, I think those things just help foster that sense of community along with the events, in addition to all the utility that we talked about.
I just wanted to add something quick into there, as I am one of the partners who actually is developing the second Genesis, as well as we did the art for this first one. So I'm a little bit of an RPG nerd, and I've played video games my entire life. So what we kind of came up with in regards to ideas for the gamification side of this was PvP battle royale style, with some play to earn mechanics involved into it. And what we did in regards to the art, we were super pumped about this. Like I said, a little bit of an RPG nerd. So we took all different styles of armor from popular RPGs, and we kind of like made our own mix up and mash of all these different armors, all these different shields, helmets, face masks, swords, weapons, staffs, and just in regards to the art, obviously the utility is great and a big incentivizer for the project. But just speaking specifically in terms of like the art mechanics and like how it's going to lay out, we put a ton of time and a ton of passion into this artwork, and we feel that anybody that really likes that style, like the PvP, kind of customize your own character, you'll be able to like add and take off like different attributes. We think that's really cool, and we're very excited to see how the gamification style plays out, especially with the staking mechanism and all the other utility as well. So I definitely am very, very excited about that.
Awesome. The second question Zek has: why enforce sudden changes to the roadmap? I'm not sure if there's additional context missing from the question, or that I'm fully understand it, but I believe what the user is asking is, why would there be some sudden changes in the plans in the near future?
So the biggest changes that we had, I mean, it was more than just content that was on, just a few little things in content. One of the biggest was actually the donation that we picked out in the beginning. We were originally going to donate a percentage of the mint to the World Wildlife Fund. We tried to reach out to them. Unfortunately, nobody really got back to us. So since we're donating a sizable amount of money, we don't want to just have to just send the money and like not really get any, like not even like a call or an email or anything like that. So what we did is with the ongoing Ukraine situation, we've actually decided, this was Jay's idea, we're going to be donating to the Ukraine Red Cross fund instead. We see that is going to definitely be a better use for the money right at this moment in time with the world situation. And that was the main reason why we changed the the roadmap. We wanted to update it with all the latest information from the changes from the beginning of the project, which was just over a couple months ago. And we just wanted to make sure before this auction, before the mint, everything, that the users knew what was going on exactly, and that we wanted to get the content exactly perfect. And also the staking mechanism, we wanted to update that. And there really wasn't too many changes. If he had a specific question about like one specific piece of content that was changed, we would be happy to answer it. But when you heard like the updated roadmap within the last couple of days, that's realistically just we're just changing the content and the wording of like who we're donating to, and then adding the actual staking mechanism that Gio and the EMAX team came up with.
Okay.
And also, the only other thing was, you know, really when this roadmap was initially created, I mean, it was done a bit ago. And, you know, as I mentioned, you know, I think some of the things around just the launch and the overall kind of testing phase of the NFT Max marketplace, it, you know, given a lot of the exploits that we've been seeing and things like that, it did definitely take a little bit more time than we were initially, you know, kind of forecasting for. But, you know, I think that's all for the best, just because we want to ensure that something completely exploit free is released, something at the highest quality of what kind of stands for the EMAX standard that we've been producing, and you know, was really just updating timelines in the various quarters. And, you know, the couple things that the PapaBear mentioned, as far as the staking details that a lot of people have been asking for, and, you know, just the charity component.
Okay. Marvin asks, what is so special about the number 2 for PixelCubs?
So that was just me. I mean, I've been fascinated. My partner, who also worked on the artwork, very, very artsy guy, and he is obsessed with repetitive numbers. So you will be seeing a lot of repetitive numbers. It's just good vibes. We love the repetitive numbers, and I mean, there's no specific reason. It was more of just preference from us as artists. But yeah, I wouldn't dig any deeper into that.
Okay.
Well, and also 2 is an angel number, so, you know, we on a Genesis collection, we want to have the positive vibes as well. So I think the artistic direction plus the angel number, it all kind of corresponded.
Okay. Master Halo 40 asks, do you plan to launch your own PixelCub token and reward holders by staking to get that token, in addition to any future benefits?
So at this point, we're really just focusing on that. I mean, realistically, that's why this collaboration all came into play, because we wanted to give a utility of a stake token without having to create our own. Because as you see in a lot of these other projects, liquidity is a huge factor. You can create any coin, you could deploy the contract, but if there's no liquidity, there's no real value behind it. So what we aim to do with this collaboration is have a coin that already has liquidity stabilized, and there's already holders, and that's really the direction that we see ourselves going into now. Obviously, the future with the gamification, there's always the potential for in-game currency, which then could be possibly a PixelCubs EMAX collab token. But right for this moment in time, we're really focusing on just the utility of the EMAX token with our staking mechanism, and the growth of not only the NFT Max platform, the EMAX token, but with our project in correspondence with that.
Okay. Second question from Master Halo 40. I would also like to know what would happen if for some reason not all the NFTs were sold out. What would you do with the remaining NFTs? Would you burn them? Would they go somewhere, etc.?
So realistically speaking, to avoid that situation, I mean, yes, we most likely would go down the road of burning them just to create the rarity a little bit higher. But I mean, honestly, that hasn't even been in our vocabulary. We have complete confidence that this is going to mint out. We have a strong base between the EMAX community, our own personal community. We have, I mean, just to be transparent, I mean, we get messages every day asking when can we buy, and we see it in our Discord. Oh, I'm minting 5, and we know the demand is there, and that's realistically why we're taking our time, and why Gio's team is making sure he dots all of his I's and crosses all of his T's, because we know that there is demand for this NFT. And most of the times when a project doesn't mint out, it's either due to bad marketing, which I know we haven't done, and it's due to bugs in the contract or some kind of issue with the stability of whatever platform it's on. So by Gio and his team going in and really making sure that they're, like you just said before, they're literally trying to break their own system that they're creating. So we want to make sure that this is a completely seamless platform where you could buy and sell on it, and everybody gets the utility with no problems, no bugs. So by us preventing these things before they even happen, I mean, I think that's going to really help us with the mint out. And like I said before, we know the demand is there. So not minting out really hasn't been in our vocabulary at all.
Okay. The users have seen it happen, so that's
and
the reason
utility.
they ask.
And
I know.
But, of course.
Remember,
I mean,
projects
you have
also
to,
don't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gio. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, obviously you have to prepare for everything, but, you know, I mean, to PapaBear's like initial statement, yeah, I mean, I think having those remaining portion burned is likely the road you'd have to go down. But, you know, we don't think that will be the case, but sure, anything's possible. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about that piece of it.
Okay. Wolf MVP asks, why choose the Ethereum network, knowing that there are already other well-known NFTs that people are going to buy at the similar price point?
So could you elaborate on that question a little bit? Because this is
Sure.
going to be on the Arbitrum blockchain.
Yeah, I believe he was thinking that when he heard sort of Ethereum, that he was presumably going to be beholden to those Ethereum gas fees. I'm not sure if you came late, Wolf, but they are on Arbitrum technically, which is a sort of Ethereum layer 2 roll-up.
And the gas fees on that are going to be extremely cheap. If you want to go back, listen to the recording, or even pop in our Discord, feel free to shoot us a message. These fees are going to be like what Gio was saying before, about 1/100th of the normal gas fees. So, for instance, you buy an NFT on off of OpenSea on the Ethereum blockchain. Realistically, during a popular time, you're probably paying at least $150 to $200 per gas fee. That is going to be dollars compared to that. So, like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get them answered for you. But I hope this helps.
Yeah, I guess a rephrasing of the question would also be, besides the gas fees, was there any other utilitarian reason you guys wanted to build it on Arbitrum instead of, say, I guess, Wax Atomic or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there's a number of more cost-efficient options, right? Besides mainnet, I mean, Polygon's another one, right? That's become popular from a NFT perspective just because of the cost. But you know, and I think it's part of the reason that EMAX has decided to use Arbitrum really as the mainframe for the rest of the ecosystem. I think it is a newer chain, right? It's built on kind of the Ethereum kind of mainnet security protocol, much more scalable. Just allows you to, I think, do a lot of different things. And I think with this project, not necessarily having to compete with as many as the user asked the question on the on mainnet. Obviously, mainnet's has been the place that the majority of it's brutal because you're kind of lost in the sea with tons and thousands of other projects. But I think just that's the whole kind of exclusivity around Arbitrum that not a lot of people have made the jump to really build on it and fully understand the capabilities of it. So I think there's much less competition from that perspective, and I think the opportunities are endless. I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar with Arbitrum, I mean it's basically funded by a company called Off Chain Labs. I mean, who is very, very, very well capitalized, very well connected. And it's something that we think will continue to grow in popularity and just take more and more market share of all layer twos, where it's already has a dominant kind of position.
Okay. Wolf's second question would be, how do you plan on spreading the word about PixelCubs, and I would add, besides what you've already done, so that it becomes something as desirable as a BayC or a CyberKong?
So that just goes into our continued marketing efforts. Obviously, money is always a factor, and with with some of our mint proceeds, we plan on dumping it into future projects. Like we said, we're going to have another Genesis collection. There is going to be gamification. We have the utility based around the staking. So we have so much content to market, and it's really just about honing in and executing what platform we want to do that in. But we have all of the ingredients to say like exactly where we're going, how we're going to market this, and we just plan on continuing doing these AMAs, making sure we do Twitter Spaces, interacting with our users, and also doing collaborations. I mean, Liz has done an unbelievable job up to this point.
Yeah, you're rugging. It's a little ruggy.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Sorry,
but one thing I think is also going to, obviously drive the value into these projects is making sure that our events, that our community gets the most out of these events, and that, people are able to network and really, develop themselves and their network by going to these events, and that they are exclusive experiences that are, highly valued.
Okay. BitBR woas fan asks, will staking rewards be based on the quantity of NFTs owned or the floor price of each individual NFT?
No, they're gonna be based on quantity. Obviously, as in the pre-minted state, that's kind of the whole lottery system of it, right? Where you don't know if you're going to get a more rare version or something that's more generic. But we think by creating the staking based around quantity and assigning a staking value to each individual NFT, that's going to help keep the floor price higher for all NFTs. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen them, right? Plenty of collections that come out, and there's the handful of rare ones that kind of go for some premium, and then everything else is kind of just discarded because it doesn't have value if it's just a generic. So I think with the fact that each one of these NFTs is going to hold a staking value, they're always going to be in demand for somebody who understands the potential return they can get by accumulating them, and ultimately attributing that to a wallet and entitling themselves to a proportionate proportion of the revenue generated on the marketplace and in the secondary trading. So I think doing it this way definitely will keep the floor price higher.
BitBR also asks, will PixelCubs have utility in the Metaverse? It's a ways out, but certainly inevitable. I would add the short answer to that is definitely yes. There's certainly a long answer coming, though. Okay.
Yeah. So I can. We talked about gamification. I mean, we're thinking about gamification in a lot of different ways. One of them in the Metaverse. We talked at onset about the whole kind of Metaverse opportunity, what it represents, and everything that I think some people have a kind of a cynical or a negative kind of thought process around the Metaverse just because of what it represents. But we see the Metaverse as a massive opportunity. Like we said, like it's all the opportunity in the real world that now kind of pertains to this alternate kind of reality where people can whether it be via avatars, via their character, you can be this kind of alter ego, and we think that the Cubs are definitely going to allow people to utilize those things and kind of get involved in different gamification, play to earn type gaming, and it definitely will have a place in the Metaverse.
Okay. Where was I? There we go. Gilang Desu asks, many people still don't have much of an idea of how NFTs work or how to acquire them. Is PixelCubs going to be considered beginner-friendly in the world of NFTs? And would there be other ways for fans or brands to earn more NFTs, like airdrops from PixelCubs?
So in regards to airdrops, it's definitely something that we've talked about, and we're definitely going to do in the future with the armor packs, with the second Genesis mints. But yeah, I know on my end, just from the sneak peeks I've seen of the NFT Max platform, along with the information and the knowledge that they're going to be displaying on this platform, it's going to be extremely user friendly, and they have a support staff that'll be able to direct you in the right way to do it safely. And the one thing that I would recommend, even like though it sounds kind of stupid on my behalf, don't buy any NFT unless you know the exact process of how it is working and how, like, what you're connecting your wallet to, what you're putting your signature on your DApp with your MetaMask or whatever wallet, because there's so many things out there that could happen, and we just want to make sure that all these users really use the information that we have, not only in our Discord and the EMAX Telegram and what we're going to have on the NFT Max platform, but we're real people. So you could ask us questions. If there's any kind of wariness before you minting or making a purchase, please reach out to one of us. We really want to help you, and we want to make sure that everybody is able to get these and not make a mishap over something stupid. You know what I mean? So the information is definitely going to be there, and the team members are also going to be there in regards to support for any beginners, any new users.
Oh, yeah, great. and just to add to that piece, I mean, anyone who's familiar with EMAX, I mean, we've placed such a high emphasis on education. We have an educational hub around everything that, you know, kind of EMAX has done from onset to current. And I'm talking from as simple as what is a cryptocurrency, you know, how to use and connect different wallets, how do the DEXs work, how do you buy and trade, how does the whole ecosystem work, different parts of the ecosystem, so the NFT Max piece of it, and you know, the whole process around NFTs, how to buy, how to safely mint, and you know, how to import in your NFT onto the marketplace, all that stuff. You know, I think if you look at the Ethereum Max Instagram or YouTube, there are, you know, dozens of informational tutorial videos that are out there, and you know, the NFT process and the NFT Max process will be no different. So, you know, we understand that, you know, in a growing space, you know, that this is the first exposure that a lot of people are having to any sort of NFTs or even any sort of cryptocurrency. And, you know, that's something we've dealt with, you know, with EMAX from onset. I mean, I would say probably 50% of our holders, EMAX was the first cryptocurrency they ever purchased. So I think education is always going to be a focal point of the EMAX project, and it'll definitely be a focal point in tandem with PixelCubs and, you know, as part of the marketplace launch.
Okay. The user's second question: we know that widespread use of NFT is changing the way many systems work today. What mechanisms will PixelCubs install in the future that would set them apart from today's NFT markets? What benefits or advantages do we gain from the ecosystem? And I guess that's partially tied to EMAX, because the PixelCubs will be first sold exclusively and minted on the EMAX marketplace.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously Gio can go into a little bit more depth than me, just because of he is the founder of EMAX, but just from the PixelCubs side of things, I'm trying to put this the right way. Actually, Gio, you want to take over for this? Sorry.
No problem. I mean, look, we talked a lot about the utility. I mean, obviously the NFT marketplace, or just the landscape, right, of NFTs has changed dramatically over, you know, the last handful of years. When, you know, people started first seeing NFTs come out, everyone just kind of assumed, oh, it would be a fad, it would pass, you know, these aren't going to last, it's just some digital piece of art, like, what's the value of it? You know, I think at onset, you know, a lot of that value was tied to the digital art in and of itself, right? Like, if people just liked the art, was it Was it something with the artist? Was it something with the collection? You know, a lot of it's prestige. Somebody mentioned like Bored Apes, like, you know, that you know, I think when you get into the AAA kind of class of premium NFTs, a lot of it is kind of prestige, and obviously the price tags on some of those things are, you know, just astronomical. And, you know, I think that you know, just being part of those kind of communities is, you know, kind of related to that prestige and the dollar price associated. But I think, you know, what we've seen, you know, in the last number of months, year, is this big shift toward utility, right? And, you know, we've spent an inordinate amount of time on this, you know, this whole show just talking about all the utility. And I think that's something that kind of stands the test of time, because, you know, sure, there's different fads within art and things like that kind of come and go. But, you know, if you can constantly count on being able to earn something by holding these NFTs, by staking them, by being able to play games, being entered into different contests and tournaments, you know, and the gamification piece of it, and, you know, continue to be able to kind of earn rewards based on the growth of a marketplace that this collection's being offered as a kind of a Genesis collection. I think those are the things that, you know, will allow these NFTs to continue to adapt as the market continues to change. And, you know, obviously you'll experience the growth of you know, of a platform and a marketplace in tandem.
Okay. Raucous Porpoise asks, what types of exclusive events are planned for PixelCub holders? Could you guys give us a couple of examples?
Yeah, so after our mint, we do have a Miami party that we're going to be doing. So that's all contingent, obviously, on the mint and when that happens with the release of the NFT platform. But we do plan on holding these these post mint parties. Most likely, they're all going to be in Miami. Maybe one or two would be in New York, but we're really looking for like a warmer weather, nice setting. Place where everybody can just kind of come and hang out and network.
Yeah, and the one thing I would add to that, I mean, I think anyone who's kind of just sees some of the partnerships and the individuals that EMAX has been able to kind of work with over time, you know, understands just the connectivity, you know, that the project has to, you know, some people that maybe, you know, others wouldn't have access to or be able to meet or be able to, you know, just take pictures with, or, you know, just be able to party with, or, you know, whatever it may be. So, you know, I think the celebrity aspect, or, you know, just the those relationships will continue to be part of these events as well. So, you know, that's something that, you know, I think is going to be a part of the future kind of exclusive events for the collection.
Okay. I lost my question. Again, give me just a moment, folks. Okay, there we are. All right, moving right ahead. Clutch asks, do you guys feel satisfied by seeing your progress and achievements till now when you look back to the start? What's ahead?
So, I mean, what's ahead is the mint, the auction, these parties, the gamification, the utility. We have so much to look forward to. And like I was saying from the beginning, when we were able to come into contact and create a collaboration with a team that already has all of these devs set up, they have the marketing, they already dotted all the boxes, you know. So for us to kind of come right into working with essentially a company that already has all of these connections, already has all of this exposure, it was just so cool, really, watching it grow from the art side of things. Because I mean, these are images that my partner and I came up in a basement on a computer, you know what I mean? And now to see them go and be in collaboration with a project that literally has over 100,000 holders is, I mean, from an artist standpoint, this is like a dream come true, you know, in terms of exposure. And I couldn't be more grateful to be a part of this team and this project and really what's to come, especially with all the staking mechanisms, the gamifications. Like I said, I'm a RPG nerd, so I can't wait for that. And I'm also a buyer of other NFTs, so adding the staking mechanism really makes me happy to be able to bring value, not only with our project, but just as a team as a whole, you know what I mean, and really create something special for all of our end users.
Okay. Sergeant 13 Bravo asks, some of this pitch seems really familiar. What other NFT projects have you all helped, been a part of, or started?
So I have two different projects that I'm currently working on right now. One is land, real estate DAO, and another one is going to be a supercar club. So you will see those coming up soon. But in regards to actual minted out projects, this is the first one that we really dove into. Like I was saying, my experience is more with real world business, and we recently got into the graphic design in regards to NFTs within the last year. So we really, before we obviously wanted to do a project on our own, we wanted to collaborate with a team that obviously has the experience, and EMAX had that experience, you know. So to be completely transparent with you, no, I haven't done another project. I am working on multiple projects with different whales that hold hundreds of thousands of dollars that are ready to dump into these projects, and our art is good. So we know that they are going to be successful and the utility is behind them. But like I said, in regards to actual minted out processes, minted out projects, this is the first for us, or for me, I should say.
Yeah, I'm curious. Were you part of any previously launched NFT projects in any way? Like, did any of the ones you worked on in the past go to mint?
Yes, so we helped with the Chill Bears Society, as well as the Wild Bear Society. There was some issues. We weren't main devs on them. We more or less just did the artwork and helped with some consulting in regards to marketing. But like I said, this is the first project where I'm really taking a hold as like a developer, coming up with the utility, working with Gio hand in hand to create a project. But I mean, if the spiel sounds similar, I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, it's just it's an item worth sort of harping on for a moment, just because I know I've heard in the past of artists who've contributed and collaborated work on NFT projects only to themselves be stiffed in the rug pull, essentially.
Yeah, so that's a big piece of it as well. I mean, I'll be honest, we get messages to do all kinds of artwork, but I mean, we do art in real life. I mean, we do murals. We're working right now on a 200-year-old barn that we completely restored. So we know the game, and we're not going to get involved with a team that just wants us for our artwork. I mean, obviously the art speaks for itself, but Gio could say it too. I mean, there's value behind my partner and I coming onto this project, not only in terms of just specifically the art, but we're helping with the marketing. We're helping coming up with different mechanisms. We're really helping grow the community. So we
taking another level of involvement.
Yeah, we're taking another level of involvement, and that is because it's allowed by Gio, because he said even from the beginning, this is your project just as much as it is mine. So that right there, when a developer with as much experience as Gio comes up to you and says that, like I said before, the morals are there. So I knew right off the bat we aren't just going to get used for our artwork and then get stiffed at the end, and not have any involvement in the project. We actually put passion into our work, so we want to make sure that we're a part of the process of it growing. And what Gio has allowed us to do is give us a platform to not only show our art, but it's given us a platform to grow as individuals and as professionals in this space. And that's really where we see this going. I mean, this is just the start. With my partner and I's artistic ability and concepts, I mean, I know we can do dozens of these if we line them up with the right teams, you know. So this is just the beginning for us, and I'm speaking more specifically with my partner and I in terms of art. So I know for a fact you will be hearing our name and seeing our around in other projects, because we already have aligned ourselves in positions to do a lot more projects.
Okay. The Dave asks, I have been watching EthereumMax since May of 2021, and I've been impressed with the growth. Are there any plans to launch Ethmax on BSC Polygon or any other lower fees network? It might help to get more traction toward the project.
Yeah, well, we definitely agree, and that was the whole point of the Arbitrum move. I think, as we've seen gas fees just, I think fluctuate over this period of 10 months or so. They've been all over the place, right? I mean, there were people paying at one point when EMAX launched, people were paying literally $1,000 a trade, just for gas, and that was kind of at the full height of, I think there was the whole kind of meme coin craze, and everything was going crazy with Shiba and things like that. That literally gas was so astronomical, and obviously it's very contingent on just the network congestion, and I think the NFT popularity, of course, has contributed a lot to those inordinate gas fees, and that was kind of one of the main impetuses for us really wanting to take a proactive approach to moving on to Arbitrum. And for those EMAX holders and the community who's really embraced and adopted it, like anything, right? When something's new, when something requires some steps to learn it and familiarize yourself, it's a process. But I think just the growth and the familiarization that our community's already taken the steps to kind of arm themselves with just on the EMAX token in of itself, I think that is very encouraging to me, because if you're looking to build an entire ecosystem, you want to launch obviously the marketplace, which we're right at the precipice of, a DEX that's integrated into that new blockchain, and the rest of our ecosystem with a stable coin and a DAO. You need user participation, and you need desire and kind of an incentive for people to take the time to learn it. But yeah, I think having the lower cost, definitely opens up and broadens the potential for your holder base. That same concept around the gas that goes into purchasing an NFT. If one of the things that we saw, a lot of our holders lamenting is that, especially if there was a little dip or the market had a little downturn, people wanted to be able to throw, some spare change, $100, $200, $500. They wanted to be able to just throw into to add to a position. And, when gas fees, were equivalent to that number, it just kind of priced certain people out of it. And that was something that we wanted to eliminate. And, I think the move to Arbitrum, really does that, where, average transactions are anywhere from 50 cents to $1 to buy. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think the question in of itself is something that, we need to do and continue to be able to market the fact that EMAX is on Arbitrum, and, just the overall opportunity that Arbitrum represents, not only for EMAX, but for the marketplace and for everything else that we're trying to do with this specific project, and with the EMAX project as a whole, and the ecosystem expansion.
Okay. The user's second question: is the collaboration with PixelCubs going to benefit the current Ethmax holders?
Yeah, absolutely, because I think the biggest thing, that when we started having some of the discussions with the team at PixelCubs was, one, I think PapaBear really hit the nail on the head, was just an alignment of values and kind of morals and work ethic and things like that. I mean, you see so many kind of projects and people in the space that just don't have that kind of moral fiber that kind of jives with what you're trying to do. So seeing the work that these guys have put in and have continued to put in helping to kind of grow the PixelCubs community, I think that leads into a real like element of growth at the onset of this launch of the marketplace. You know, the marketplace in and of itself is a massive marketing tool and exposure for the entire EMAX project. You know, as we went through the evolution of you know, some of the different things that kind of happened over time with EMAX, and you know, I think now that we've moved into a very developmental heavy segment of the project, when you start to introduce things like NFTMax, which of course the popularity of that I think will be helped by having a kind of maiden project that gets off the ground and is very successful and does well. You know, then you're only going to have, you know, more interest and growth of the marketplace as a whole. With the growth of the marketplace comes into, okay, well, what's the project behind it, right? And you get a lot more exposure, I think, to EMAX in and of itself, and you know, that's why we're just very excited to be able to collab with the PixelCubs team, and you know, to really kind of launch this marketplace with you know, with a project already in hand that, you know, we think has a lot of interest and is going to do very well.
Okay. USMB2 asks, what is the reason behind choosing Cubs as the face of the NFT project? Why an animal? Why not something else a little more out of this world? And will it have any backing?
So, when you say backing, what do you specifically mean?
Oh, I'm imagining that the user's referring to the fairly common practice of being able to back a crypto NFT with tokens or Ethereum or Wax or any kind of crypto usually.
Okay, so he might have missed it when I was speaking right in the beginning. So the way this collaboration actually happened was because my partner and I did all of this artwork for a different project. So to be transparent with you, nothing to hide here. The name of the game was Game of Combs, and we were going to be doing a wolf game kind of copycat, like a Wizards and Dragons style slash wolf game. And like I said before, I wasn't happy with the contract. There was too many bugs. I didn't want users to lose money through this project, and I, especially as this being one of the first projects that we did all of the art for completely, I didn't want to be part of something that could potentially have so many variables for disaster. So originally, these Cubs were not created for EthereumMax. These Cubs were created to go along with a game and a risk-based game that we went and we kind of themed around Game of Combs with Cubs and bees. But we love the art, and it's very you could use this art for anything. And we switched up some things in regards to making like the specific EMAX Cubs. We hand drew those after the fact. Once we came into collaboration with EMAX, because we knew we needed to offer some kind of specific EMAX tailored NFT, and the rest the rest of the collection we just honed in to really make it perfect. And the reasoning behind the Cubs is not because of EMAX, unfortunately. It was based off of a different project, but we are using the art for this, and we transitioned to specifically tailor this to EMAX.
Okay. USMB2's second question, are you only going to target the US and presumably Western markets for these NFTs? If not, how are you going to target the skeptical major crypto and NFT markets in developing nations of South Asia, i.e. Pakistan and India, whose people are currently being robbed, fleeced, and scammed many times by similar algo NFT projects?
So when you say similar, I can't fully agree with that, because there's a lot of these teams aren't docs. They don't have any real backing. They're pulling just very weird like mechanisms out of nowhere. So
I'd true. They'll have anonymous creators. That's a big factor.
Yeah, no, I'm like totally transparent about that. I have no problem with anyone knowing who I am.
Yeah, so I mean, we're definitely different in that fact. And like I was saying before, stop in the Discord, stop in one of our Twitter spaces. We had some people from African countries find out about us through a friend or through some kind of Twitter marketing that we did, and we're getting people from all over the world here. And while our majority base is in North America, we want to expand this thing globally, and we have been working with some YouTubers that are in Japan. I know a couple of people want to do videos for us over there. We haven't.
We have a ton of global connections.
Yeah, so we haven't specifically looked into Southeast Asia, but to answer your question, we're not against any of that, and we want the reach of the PixelCubs to become global, because the whole base of this project is utility, the staking, and the profitability behind holding these NFTs. And the beautiful thing about that is anybody with a Wi-Fi signal can get access to that and have that opportunity. So in regards to our marketing, yes, we are marketing to not just specifically one area of the globe, and we want to make this a user-friendly NFT project for anybody that wants to join.
Okay, awesome. Sammy asks, can you explain your project in 5 words? The greatest challenge.
The best project out there. I mean, 5 words. Utility.
I was gonna say bear staking on Ethmax, but
yeah,
I would say utility, return on investment.
Interesting. Okay. Sammy also asks, the market competition is tough, and I think he also means saturated at the moment, as a lot of NFT projects will get rugged after they get launched. They're wondering how PixelCubs plans to make it on the project in a crowded market like this.
Yeah, so
Utility.
And I think like a common, I guess, skeptical concern, right, that a lot of people just have, right, innately in this space is, you know, how to differentiate a real project, right, from a scam. And, you know, I think that's one of the things that, you know, this collaboration, I think really helps to afford to the project, because, you know, although, yeah, sure, there's, you know, there's some press and there's all that type of stuff. Like, you have a project, you have a team that's kind of withstood this test of time in up markets, down markets, and, you know, is continuing to work, continuing to develop, and continuing to expand on the scope of the project. You know, everything that we've put in, you know, things like our white paper, you know, have been getting built. We continue to do the things that we tell our community, we tell the market that we're going to do. And I think when you have a team that kind of puts their name to something, that are present, that, you know, kind of stand behind the project, like that in and of itself differentiates you from a lot of the other projects out there, where you just have kind of a lot of anonymity and stuff that, you know, if something does happen, you know, you really have no recourse. And I really do feel for people, especially who make kind of their first foray into whether it be crypto or NFTs, and, you know, they have a bad experience because it kind of sours their entire taste on the space that does have a lot of really good opportunities and a lot of room for growth, and in, you know, a space that is absolutely in its infancy. So, you know, I think just the consistency of the team, the fact that, you know, there is this collaboration, and that, you know, we do have an entire marketplace and project behind the PixelCubs specific collection. I think that should allay some concerns.
All right. And we've already answered your first question, Mr. Mahar, so I'm going to go straight for your second question. Can we take advantage of taxes, 0% buy and 6% sell taxes, same as with Arbitrums, while minting the NFTs on NFTMax?
Yeah, so any purchase of any of the NFTs with EMAX will be whitelisted, so they will not be subject to tax. So that's something I know people had some questions around, but yeah, the tokenomics will not apply to purchases with EMAX on the marketplace.
Awesome. And with that, my dear friends, we are approaching the 2-hour mark of this program. This has been an excellent program. I really want to thank everyone for coming. I would also like to offer the final moments to the PixelCubs and Ethmax team to shout out any special events of which might be coming up in the near future.
So I don't have a special event. Obviously, the auction is coming up, and we're extremely excited about that in correlation with the NFTJay marketplace release. But I would actually like to gift you, Nexus, and your group 20 whitelist spots, and I want to give one to anybody who asked a question today, and then I'll leave the remainder for you to distribute among your community, if that is okay.
We already did 20 whitelist spots.
Yeah.
We did.
There was a quick giveaway early on in the show. It took place real fast.
They already filled out. Wow.
Well, throw 5. You know what? Throw 5 more in there for anyone who didn't
We
get
could do
a chance.
5 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like
5 more.
Some of the people that asked the questions, those were some really good questions, and thank you for listening. Please feel free to reach out to us, any of us, via Discord, Twitter. You'll get in contact with one of us, either myself, Jay, Gio, Liz. We're always around. There's always somebody on the Twitter or the Discord. So any kind of questions, please feel free to direct it towards us, and come over and join the Discord, join the party. The auction is just right around the corner. It's going to be some exciting stuff.
And we will be giving away the best question rewards shortly.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Very good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, and nice meeting you.
All right, excellent. As always, with that, this has been a presentation of the Wolves of Wall Street. My name is Nexus. I have been your host for today. The following that you heard was not to be construed as financial advice and represents solely the opinions of the speakers, myself included, and not necessarily the opinions of the entirety of the team of Ethmax, the entirety of the team of PixelCubs, or the entirety of the community or leadership of the Wolves of Wall Street. As always, it is my absolute pleasure to be your host. This community and this show does not exist without you guys. We'll be going to the post-show segment shortly.